through the tunnel, then you're a racist. I mean, this is the craziness that's going on and unfolding. And I just wonder, when does it hit bottom? How far will it go? The globalists are taking over by doing this. Meanwhile, they have to get armored redoubts in the middle of the Caribbean and the middle of the Pacific Ocean to hide. I mean, there is a method to their madness, but at the same time, they just can't help stealing everything, and they can't help screwing everything up because they're in the management positions and can make money off the response to the crisis. Josh Owens.
Absolutely. These agendas, these globalist agendas are pushed every day that humans are bad. And I'm going to say this. I think in Bilderberg, one thing that I noticed is that the cops, the checkpoints, the being treated like we were filth, it happened. I mean, the second we got there, it started, and it happened until we left, everywhere we went. And when I got home, driving into work this morning, I almost, in my mind, it was like, well, I guess I'm going to go through a checkpoint this morning.
You were being conditioned.
Yeah, exactly. You get used to it so quickly, and I don't think people realize that when they're not living in it specifically. It's not affecting their lives every day. But I think people need to know how fast it can happen and how quickly your mind can switch on to think, well, this is just something I have to put up with. This is just something I have to deal with.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you like it. You, as that globalist told me once off record, you don't get it. You think you're going to evolve and overcome. We're going to make you evolve to submit.
Exactly. And they took over that whole town, the little town of Telfs, in like 3 days. Boom, they set up checkpoints. They were running people through it. We talked to the people. Had you gone to the checkpoint? Almost everyone we talked to had gone through the checkpoint at one time or another. And it was right at the edge of town. It wasn't even in the town. But they were being conditioned to submit. And there's a guy asking, oh, Texas, pull over. Well, the second he saw we were from Texas, he wanted to pull over. They had their hands on their guns. That's like their first position is hand on the gun, looking at you menacingly.
This is Jade Helm. This is what we're being introduced to. Global police state standardization.
Yeah, and people are like, why don't you just tell the cops what you didn't have a chance. And one thing, I don't answer the cops. I don't give them any information. If they ask for my passport, I give them my passport. If they ask for a booking paper, I give them the booking paper. I don't start just throwing information out at them because you say anything to these cops, it can be used against you.
Well, people think groveling is what built America.
Yeah.
Groveling is what built slaves.
Groveling is what has created what Austria is now. And those are a captured people. I feel really bad for them because they're a lot of nice people, but they just love to submit to the tyranny.
You mean the people who were under Hitler are captured?
Yeah.
Their countries got captured after World War II.
And they've never gone out of that. They're still submitting. They're like, if I just do my job, I'll be okay. I'll be okay. If I agree with the checkpoints, I'll just be okay. And so they should have the whole town.
And now Germany's had to bail Greece out 3 times.
Right.
And is going bankrupt. And under socialism, it hates life so much, they've incentivized to have 1.2 kids. The good news is the Germans have all committed suicide. There are none of you.
Yeah. Their populations are falling.
Knock yourselves out.
Yeah, it's just a totally amazing experience going there and contrasting the beautifulness of the scenery and then just the total
You know what
decay.
I've noticed? Patriots all have 3, 4 kids. I've got 3. You've got 4. I don't care whether they're black, white, Hispanic, whatever. And other people just giving up. And I don't want kids. I want to go watch TV all day. We are into life. We're normal humans. We're wild.
The 2 guys
we're
that took me up that
That's what we're in this cage. We know we're here. We're get me out of here.
I had 2 guys take me up the mountain to show me where those great shots were, those overhead shots. One had 3 kids, one had 4 kids. And they're into freedom. Even though they live in Europe, they're still, one of them biked 300 kilometers just to get there because they want to see what's going on so they could go back and tell people that this is ridiculous.
Yeah, they didn't bike to go watch a football game. They biked to see journalists fighting tyranny. They wanted to be part of something special. This is legendary. This is awesome. This is epic. Great job, crew. Want you to do a final report for tonight's news. Great job, gentlemen. We'll be back. It's ridiculous. Putin says Russia's beefing up its nuclear arsenal. Things are really gearing up in a big way. Obama moves to continue to keep the borders open, and he's pushing Internet ID verification response system. I'm going to hit that. We're going to look at Boko Haram. Now the U.S. has got to attack the group funded by the West. That is just some of what's coming up here today in this 3rd hour. Joining us via video Skype, he was going to join us in person, and we had to drive up from South Texas, is Dr. Edward Group, one of the top formulators of supplements in the country, Army veteran, really great nutritionist, and with so many other degrees that deal with health, chiropractor, you name it. But his knowledge is simply amazing. And I've had a lot of medical doctors on that break down and basically say the same things he's saying, like Blaylock and so many others. But I wanted to tell a personal story here on air. And back when this happened, I told Dr. Group and Anthony Gucciardi, I said, there's no way that I'm going to tell this story just because it's personal, it's private, and it's gross. But, hey, let's all be adults here. If it's about ultimate health, if it's about really fighting the globalist agenda from all the GMO and all the artificial things that are in our food, the melamine plastic, the heavy metals, the toxins, the fluoride, the Grignard reagents, we need to tell the people. Now, Dr. Group develops many of the products that we have at InfoWarsLife.com. So part of this is, you know, an infomercial. I mean, I do this a couple times a month. That's how we fund our operation. But in the mainstay, this is not an infomercial. 90% of this is pure informational, and are things you can do without us that'll have a dramatic effect, a big effect. Everyone knows that the liver is toxic. People are getting liver cancer and having liver failure and problems all the time who've never had a drink in their life, who don't have liver problems in their family history. It's the body's filter, along with the gallbladder and the kidneys, but it's the key one. One of the biggest organs inside of your stomach, inside of your chest area, inside of your abdomen and torso. And when you eat all these toxins, if you ate McDonald's nuggets 20 years ago that had plasticizers in them, your gallbladder and your liver doesn't know what to do, so the liver basically excretes that into the gallbladder, and it holds it. And if you're a TV viewer, I'm going to put this on screen. Just Google gallbladder stones, and it's disgusting, but you need to look at it. And when you finally get filled up with these, it bursts, or it gets infected, and they've got to remove it. And we'll scroll through these. There's even grosser ones. Like, let's scroll down. On average, they're green or black. If they're black, they're really old and toxic. They're generally green. And this stuff's meant to be passed out of you, but we eat such artificial food that it doesn't. These are way beyond kidney stones, you name it. You also have liver stones. And medical doctors won't tell you on average, hey, flush your liver. They'll just say, hey, your liver's sick. It's going to get progressively worse. We're going to get you on a list for a liver transplant. It is unbelievable. We're showing these disgusting images. So about a year and a half ago, Anthony Gucciardi just said, man, I just did a Dr. Group's liver cleanse, the one he recommends. And he's developing this proprietary stuff he's testing on himself right now. You really ought to do it. The results are dramatic after 6 days. And I'm like, no way I'm doing it. I don't believe that there's giant black or green balls in my gallbladder. And this is how ignorant I am. And he's like, look at it online. I'm not looking at it online because stuff like that grosses me out. I don't want to go there. Well, finally, about 6 months ago, they convinced me to do it. So the regimen is for 6 days, and I don't sell this. The best is Bragg, certified 100 years, organic, raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar. It's got the mother in it, as they call it, unpasteurized, naturally gluten-free. It's one of the best probiotics out there. We do not sell this. You take this 4 times a day in water, a couple teaspoons or tablespoons, and you take the oxy powder, 4 to 7 tablets at night, depending whatever you need. I just started it last night. And after you've done this a few times, it doesn't take 3 or 4 days to flush you out. It starts right away for me. This morning, it was there. I took 4 tablets last night, took my first apple cider vinegar. I'll do that for 6 days. On Saturday evening, I will drink about 7 ounces of organic olive oil before bedtime. I'll lay on my right side that has the gallbladder and the liver. And healthy people, it happens the next morning. I obviously wasn't healthy. It took 2 days. I said, see, it didn't happen. Well, 2 days later, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking a toilet full of black and green gallbladder and liver stones. And Anthony goes, you got to do it again and videotape it. I said, no way. Well, actually, Buckley was saying that. Because, yeah, it will sell a lot of oxy powder, and we've come out with a proprietary thing that he's developed the last 2 years. The new product we're launching today, Liver Shield. And you know, I just said, so what? I'm all about being real and transparent. We'll talk about it. Now, about 3 or 4% of people, it doesn't happen the first time. Your gallbladder is so compacted, so full, so jammed full of stones that it doesn't even happen, and it takes several cleanses to do it. And understand, talk to your physician first, because, you know, I haven't heard of this, but, you know, if it's already totally full, trying to push all that out the first time might have some bad effect. I mean, you know, if your liver and your gallbladder are already totally screwed up, who knows what this will do? All I know is the amount of energy I got after this was dramatic. I mean, within a day, it was incredible. And my skin got healthier, and my energy went up even more. Basically, I've slowly followed everything Dr. Group has said, and now I'm following almost everything he says, and it's life-changing. So today we're launching Liver Shield. He's here to talk about what's in it. You take 4 or 5 squirts of this 2 or 3 times a day in with the apple cider organic vinegar. You take your oxy powder at night, and it is totally, absolutely dramatic. Both of these are available at InfoWarsLife.com. Liver Shield exclusively. And I'm so honored that as he developed his own liver cleanse a few years ago, that he started pushing this on me before he even allowed us to come out with it. So I was trying this 6 months ago, obviously, before I rolled it out. And I finally did it because they just said, look, it's real, do it. We want to offer you this as it rolls out. It's dramatic, and you just got to try it for yourself. If you just, it's like changing fuel filters or oil filters. If you just let all that garbage pass out of you, if you just try it, it is a life-changing event. InfoWarsLife.com to get the Liver Shield that is key to have the full release happen, and oxy powder. And then, of course, what they recommend is apple cider vinegar Bragg, B-R-A-G-G, over 100 years out there, put out by an ND PhD with his wife, ND PhD, pioneer health crusader, health educator, authors, original health stores, life extension supplement. Again, we don't sell this. You can get it at any good health store. It all goes together. And joining us to break down how this super cleanse works is Dr. Group. Now, you can take Liver Shield every day and have an effect. And some may start getting released after a few weeks, a few here, a few there. But if you want to vomit all this up, it just doesn't come out the top, it comes out the bottom, it's dramatic. I mean, when you realize this was in you, folks, it is insane. It is insane what we do to ourselves, and that nobody talks about this. Dr. Group, we're going to break here in a few minutes, but I'm talking about this personal experience. And I remember telling Anthony and you on the phone, I'm like, you know, I'm days into this. After it didn't happen, you're like, oh, man, that shows you're really backed up. And then I was going to the movies. I had to run out, and it was super dramatic. And exactly what you said. And I'm told it's worse that they were black and not green. I hate to talk about this, but what does this mean, Dr. Group?
Well, first of all, you know, I was kind of skeptical myself about the best way to cleanse the liver, but it didn't take too long to realize when I started looking at the root cause of all disease. And then, obviously, we've talked about it many times, the toxins that people consume from the air, the food, the water, and everything that come into the body. There were 2 things that I found that the medical profession never wanted you to find out about and didn't teach a lot in medical school. And those were the actual organs in the body that regenerate themselves. The liver is the only organ that regenerates itself completely in 3 months. The intestines don't fully regenerate themselves, but the intestinal lining does. It's made of epithelial cells, and that regenerates itself every 24 hours. Well, then you look at all the disease-causing toxins. Well, where do the disease-causing toxins go? They come in through the intestines, and they get processed through the liver. So our philosophy and our research led us to, if we keep the intestines clean and if we can cleanse the liver, well, that should be, then the liver could process the toxins and eliminate the toxins, and the intestinal tract could eliminate the toxins.
Sure, but I mean, what do the different colors of the gallstones mean? And I guess a normal gallbladder I was reading is supposed to be loaded with these.
Well, what we found out over the years is that the majority, over 90% of the population, has an accumulation of liver stones and gallstones, and those can be a combination of.
Well, mine were little and black. What does that mean?
Well, usually the black ones have been there for a long period of time, and they attract different types of metals and other types of chemicals,